Welcome to the Amazing Authorities Podcast, where game changers, visionaries, and category leaders share how they built their brands, platforms, and global influence. Your host is Mitch Carson, international speaker, media strategist, and creator of the Instant Authority System. If you're ready to learn from those who've done it and want to become the go-to expert in your space, you're in the right place.
KERN Carter is our guest today on the Amazing Authorities podcast, and he's to share his writer's journey, his writing as a coach, or his coaching as coaching other writers, new writers. He's a novelist, and he's also nonfiction. So, KERN, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Excited to be here. Excited to have this convo.
And give us a little background on how did you get into the writing space?
So I always say I'm really fortunate. I'm a lifelong author. Like I always wanted to be an author since I was 8, and where I'll give myself credit is that I just stuck to that dream. So it started off during university. I started in earnest writing my first novel. I'd written obviously before that, but like really taking on the challenge of writing my first novel was university, and then self-publishing that one in 2014, self-publishing another one in 2017, then saying, okay, I feel like I'm ready for a different experience. So I pursued traditional publishing, got an agent, and then got my first publisher was an indie publisher here in Canada called KERN, which I'm so grateful to them because they're the first one who saw my talent. And I love those guys. And I love the book that they published called Boys and Girls Screaming. And then after the indie was Penguin, and then Scholastic. And now that's kind of the route I'm on right now. I have a few more deals with them and a few more books coming out.
You're with Penguin Publishers.
Yeah, Penguin and Scholastic, yes.
Okay, those are big ones. Certainly well-respected publishers. And what have you seen as a novelist? Are more people consuming the physical books or the ebooks or both? Because there was this big fear about, oh my gosh, ebooks are going to destroy books and people aren't reading. And is that a myth?
Myth. People buy physical books like by four to one compared to ebooks or any other book. Like audiobooks is not even like a conversation, although I encourage people to listen to books if that's what they're able to do or that's what they enjoy. But physical books, again, we just sold close to another record year in physical books, selling over close to 800 million books, like 780 something million physical books just in 2025. In 2024, we sold 782 million physical books.
Is that worldwide, or are you talking Canada and the US?
Those are global numbers.
Global
right?
numbers. Okay.
So it's a lot of books. Like we're totally, and the generation, the Gen A, they're still reading physical books. Gen Z still reading physical books. Like there's no there has not been any change in behavior. It's just I call it, I mean, sometimes I think it's just luck. Publishing has somehow survived the digital era. I just think that if I'm looking at it from a more practical perspective, I don't think any of the other mediums offer the same experience or offer, what I'm saying? Like reading a book is such a unique experience that listening to the book is a different experience. Reading a digital book, an ebook is also a different experience. It's just not the same immersion. So I honestly think it's that there's just something very magical about reading a physical book.
Yeah, and I'm a baby boomer. You forgot that generation. And
I forgot that y'all are the OGs, though. You're the OGs. I don't have to mention you. You guys set the tone.
Yeah, well, if I'm not able to do this and span, I feel like I'm not involved in it. And the same with newspapers. Well, don't exist much anymore. It's hard to consume a newspaper. That was a habit. It's just a matter of what you're accustomed to, your rituals. And I've read some ebooks. I much prefer a physical book.
Yeah,
I much prefer. It's a like I mentioned a process. It's a ritual to be able to do that and maybe market. You can't market digital book the same way. I know there are programs that allow you to do it, but I prefer the physical. So show us a couple of your books that you've written, if you wouldn't mind talking about.
Oh, you want me to show you?
Yeah, why not?
So
Show
I'll
and tell, my man.
show you. This is the first book. This is Boys and Girls Scream. This is my first published book. I love this book. It's my. I know you're not supposed to have favorites, but for some reason I just like this one. I just love it. It's all imagination. And then there's us. This is my second self-published novel. This one is with Penguin. Love this book. This one is one of my more popular books. Then this one is with I wrote one middle grade book too, so I'm covering the gamut here. I got one middle grade book. This one's with Scholastic. This one's called Is There a Boy Like Me? This is actually my most popular book, believe it or not, even though, like, I don't consider myself a children's author, but hey, Scholastic came calling, I delivered. And then we have myself. Do I have myself? Let me just show you one more. I'll show you.
Okay, sure.
I'll show you.
I love show and tell,
I'll show you my two self-published books. So this is my first novel ever. It's a novella. It's only 70 pages.
That was a little fast. Thoughts of a Fractured Soul. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
First one. This one obviously is my entire heart. And this is my second self-published book. It's like
Beauty Scars.
Beauty Scars. Yeah. So yeah, that's everything right there.
And you mentioned before we began this interview, you've got your first nonfiction piece coming out. Tell us about that, because that's a big shift. That's going from Republican to Democrat in the parties. It's about that extreme. I mean, I'm a nonfiction writer, and the idea of fiction scares me to the core. So I have to applaud you, because they're totally different disciplines, aren't they?
Yeah. I've written shorter nonfiction things before, and I do a lot of, I have a newsletter that does fairly well. So I'm accustomed to kind of sharing about my life. I've been doing it for a long time. I blogged in the blogging era for a long time. So it doesn't feel as big of a leap. It's still a book, so it is different. But it's a book. It's about a lot of things. But if I had to choose something, I would say it's about decentering American culture. I'm from Canada. I've been raised here. I came here when I was 6. I was born in Trinidad, raised here.
Where were you born? Sorry, you said that.
In Trinidad.
Oh, Trinidad. Okay.
Trinidad and Tobago.
You're a Caribbean man. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I came over here when I was 6, and just like the influence of American culture has been so strong here. Like it's incredible to think about. If I told you some stories about, the books that we read growing up and the music that we listened to, and everything was just like, the TV we watched, everything was American. Like the most of it was American. So the book discusses that, and also discusses like language, because it discusses this something that happened to me very early on in my life, where I felt like I was silenced because of the way I was judged because of the way I spoke, and that silenced me. It literally actually made me a much more reserved person, and it took a long time for me to break through that silence. So I talk about language and its effect on me, and I pair that with the decentering of American culture. It's an interesting book. We'll see what happens.
I'm curious. You're Canadian, and Americans, we share a border. Culturally, we're very similar. There are a few language nuances, like you say about, we say about, you say resources, we say resources, and you say and we might say right. A few different small distinctions only we would pick up on as Canadians or Americans, albeit. Australians would no way be able to distinguish us as well as you. But we, given so close, we do that. But culturally, we're more aligned. And I'm sharing this for people that are in Europe and Asia who may not understand how close America and Canada, stand in terms of culture.
Yeah. So I mean, I would say yes and no. I would say yes in general culture. Like, I think we're a lot aligned, and we speak English as the main language, although we welcome multiculturalism, and we appreciate that in different ways. But I think American culture is very specific, and also very prominent. Like I think America's biggest export is their culture. Like you all have, if I think about movies, if I think about music, if I think about like just food, like culture in general, America has captivated the world with the way that they've been able to impress those different things onto them. Canadian culture is not as, let's say, aggressively public. Like I feel like Canadians are much more reserved and timid in the way that we approach everything.
Well,
including
pure population difference. There's a
huge
large
population difference.
Yeah, I think it's 10 times larger, roughly.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think America, California is the size of Canada in population. You know, we have about 40 million people. So it's not
Yeah, nine
population
times
wise.
larger, I think about now, 8 or 9 times larger. I mean, land mass is different, but yeah, the
Yeah,
population is, yeah, with about 345 million Americans that I know.
it's a lot of Americans. That's a lot of people. Y'all got a lot of people out there, you know? But again, like I think there are distinct cultural differences because in America, there are, I think you can go coast to coast and experience a different lifestyle. Like you could live in New York and live in Idaho, and those are two different worlds. You know, you could live in New Mexico and live in Connecticut and feel like you're in two different countries. You could go from another interesting thing that for Canadians would not make any sense, but would make sense in America. A lot of Americans don't have passports. That would be a weird thing for a Canadian.
Insane to believe that. I think
Like, it's
only
weird.
30% have a passport or even
Yeah,
less, smaller,
it's
actually.
weird.
Yeah.
For us, that's not even like at night. I don't know the exact number, but I'm gonna bet it's like 90 something percent that we have. Like all of us have passports. You know, it's just a different culture. So there are some things that are uniquely American that are just it's cool to think about. And yeah, I'm gonna examine it a little bit in that book.
Well, you won't need a passport. You won't, you'll have an American passport soon when you become our 51st state.
Hey, we don't even do that. We would
Hey, I
never.
had to, I had to slip that
I
in.
know. Good one. Good. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
And what do you do in your day job? I mean, you write books. Don't you help other
Mhm.
people in the process? And has that been
Yes,
rewarding for you, helping others?
absolutely. For me, writing obviously is my first love. I love novel writing, but being able to, first of all, ghostwrite books for other people to help them tell their stories, being able to help through editing processes, so developmental editing, book coaching. I teach once a week at a college, a local college here in Toronto called Humber College. I teach once a week. Actually, I had class this morning. I lecture for about 3 hours. It's the most fulfilling thing, and I'm actually surprised by how much I enjoy it. You know, like I thought and it still is true that again, book writing is my favorite thing, like writing my personal books, but the joy I get just I was at a class, I was yesterday, Monday, I was in two classes. I went to speak at a seventh grade class, seventh and eighth grade class, and then spoke there for about 2 hours, then went to 12th grade class and sat down with like 11 like really, really literary students. We had this hour-long discussion about craft and literature in a way that was just so advanced. And it was just like being able to do that and then coming today and having a course with college students. Yesterday, I had a course with like I teach online every other week uh, about craft and being able to do all of that is just the most rewarding thing for me. I think we need more stories in the world, not less. And so me being able to contribute to helping other people bring their story to the world is it's fulfilling. It feels really good.
Where do people get in touch with?
KERNCarter.com, best place to go, or just Google Kern Carter. My name on all social platforms is Kern Carter. So if you Google me, it's pretty easy to find me, but KERNCarter.com for everything.
And so you do book coaching, editing.
Yep.
You'll
Yep.
take people through the whole writing. How much of it is mindset and stick to itiveness? Because it took me 2 years to write my first nonfiction book. Man, it was overwhelming. It was more difficult than my master's degree.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. I would say uh, it's like 75% mindset. I think I tell people, everyone that I communicate with, every author who I communicate with, I say you need to make a commitment or make a decision first. Decide that this is something that you want to do and then commit to it. Because if you're not committed and you're wavering, you're kind of on the fence, this is just not the industry for you. It does not reward wavering. You have to be really committed to it, or just if you're not committed to it fully, then keep writing as a hobby and just do it for your enjoyment. Don't make it something that you're pursuing as a career, because if you're pursuing writing as a career, you're going to have to go through so many emotional hurdles, so much rejection, so many years of people not reading your stuff. Like it's too much psychological trauma to even endure if you're not committed to it. So the first part I tell everyone is like, what is your level of commitment? Like how important is this to you? If it's not that important, or if it's just like if there's something else you want to do, go do that other thing and just keep writing Precious and don't worry about making it a career.
I liken a book to birthing a baby. How do you feed it to
Mm.
grow it to where it's well received and you get it out there in the universe? What have you found for public relations that works?
Good question. I would say a few things. First of all, like trying very hard to build your own community and speak to a very specific community of people. If you're able to identify the people who will be most engaged with the types of books that you're writing, then speak to them. You don't even have to have your own community, right? Like if you could speak directly to those people, and find where they are on different platforms and speak directly to them, you'll do okay. Also, believe it or not, podcasts like the one I'm on right now, like this is really helpful. Like if you're able, like forget the big podcast. The big podcasts, they do okay to move books, but the podcasts that move books the most are podcasts like the ones that you have right now. Like because the people are engaged, they actually listen, they'll actually take your word, and then you'll be able to as a guest, you'll be able to come on and capture that audience, right? Like you only interview authors. So you know what I'm saying? Like you're the likelihood of somebody engaging with my work now increases because I'm on a podcast with someone who is speaking the language of that I speak and speaking to the people who I want to speak to. So podcast, get on podcasts and learn how to present yourself and present your work, and that will help a lot. So I would say those two things for sure. And that's just like understanding yourself. It starts with understanding yourself. Like where do you show up the best? If that's through writing, then do it on start a Substack. If that's on video, then jump onto Instagram or something, right? Like find out where you actually thrive and then do that the most, do that thing the most. And if you do that, then I think people just naturally kind of gravitate towards you.
How about book signings? What's been your experience there, and are they still relevant today?
Yes, they're relevant for deepening your relationship with fans, with readers. It's not relevant for selling books, or at least that's not been my experience. I think it's much more relevant for someone to come in and you have a one-on-one experience with them and you're able to kind of deepen that bond, and now they're going to buy all of your books. So that it's important for that reason to nurture your community and nurture your readers. It's not like a book selling mechanism.
And can you make a distinction between what sells for nonfiction authors and fiction authors? Because again, I'm much more focused on the marketing. I know you got to create a quality book. Let's assume that.
Hmm.
But if
Hmm.
nobody's heard about it, you're going to be a sad author.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you mean like the distinction between like what types of book sells?
Well, what have you found? What's has worked for you? I'm sure your first book was a book of passion. Then you realized, oh my gosh, this is a business.
Oh
I
yeah,
gotta
okay,
push
yes, yes.
copies. It's one thing birthing the baby, but you got to feed that sucker like three
Yeah.
times a day and change its diaper.
Yeah, yeah, okay, got you, got you. Yes. So I learned that lesson kind of the hard way with my first novel. I put it out, wasn't like yes, I was thinking about marketing, but I wasn't as aggressively thinking about it. So when I did my book launch, I had like legitimately like seven people, and most of them were my family members. It was kind of sad. So the second book, I was like, nope, this is not happening. So 2 years, and I mean like in actual time, 2 years before the book came out, I already started letting people know. I did um a book cover contest with two local high schools, and I got them together. I said, hey, whoever wins that becomes a book cover. So that cover you see back there, a 16-year-old did that cover for Beauty Scars. A 16-year-old did that cover. Um, I and that I didn't even have the book written yet. I had like a few chapters, right? I knew the title and I had a few chapters. I gave them the first line of the book and I said, "Go draw," and and I started promoting. Then took the top 10 images after that and had a gathering for adults now. Free wine, all you could drink wine, had some food, had some performances, like has my actor friends read my book, read from my book because it was a little bit more finished. And did that. So I was in promo mode for 2 years leading up to that book. Now, so when my book launch came around, over 100 people sold 100 books on that day. That book actually, as an indie book, like a self-published book, sold really well. I was really proud of the effort that I put into that. I made some really cool partnerships, and it worked out. So for me, it's partnerships, so cross promoting with other artists. That has always worked for me. thinking of creative marketing tactics, like the school thing, right? Putting two high schools together. So I was thinking of creative marketing
Can I
tactics.
drill down on that before you go on?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This I haven't heard before, and that I thought was brilliant. So you made it a competition between two schools, and the person who won the competition, you gave him credit, I presume, inside the book, say written
Yep,
by, Joe Smith or whatever his name is,
yep.
cover design. So that school kid can use that as part of his or her resume when they go apply to university. Is that what you?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the thing is, all not just the winner becomes your fan, the entire all 50, because I had 50 students, all 50 students become your fan. And then they when I bust them, I actually bust them in. The finalists, I bust the finalists in. I only wanted the finalists to come. They brought all their friends. So it was two busloads of kids from two different schools coming down to the to somewhere in Toronto called Artscape. And we had the like award ceremony, like, oh, who's gonna win? We had the top five and we had who's gonna win. So, and I had all their emails, everyone, and they're still following me on social media to this day. So, that was really a really successful kind of campaign that I ran, and I loved it. I think authors underestimate the power of bringing people together in real life. Word of mouth sells books more than anything. It's word of mouth. There's if when it comes down to it, for books, someone has to tell you, hey, go read that book, Mitch. Like I think you should read that book. That's how people buy books. They don't, it's very rare that a person blindly walks into a bookstore. Only real readers do this. Like go into a bookstore and let me see what I'm gonna buy today. Like only super readers do that. Casual readers who are going to make up the majority of your sales, they need to be told what to go buy. So you have to find a way to get people to really engage and love you and love your book. That is done more effectively in real life. So I don't hesitate to bring people together in real life. I don't just stay digital. I think people forget that before social media, people were selling millions of books, right? Like millions and millions of books. They still sold a bunch of books before social media. So there is a way to do that. And yes, I know the landscape is different, publications are different, et cetera, et cetera. Media is different. I know all of this. At the same time, the power of bringing people together has not changed. That still gives you a much better chance, I believe, to connect with the reader and to sell books. Like don't underestimate that. It gets the momentum going, gets people talking.
I want to bring up a couple things because I like to recap the gems. First, sole purpose. You had a dream when you were a boy. You wanted to be an author. It's like, okay, this is it. Some kids want to be firemen, then policeman, lawyer, doctor, what have you. You wanted to be an author, and you became it. The second thing that you brought up, and this I've interviewed 180 authors, 180. First time I've heard about this school competition. I think
Hmm.
that is brilliant. And what it also does is gets parents potentially involved. It's like, what's my kid doing? And third thing, if you put their name in the acknowledgement, I don't know if you did this or not.
I
This is
did.
where
I did.
oh, okay. So you're a sharp guy. They'll buy your book because the power of seeing their name in print is huge. And I'm going to say this from firsthand experience. I had a successful advertising business in Los Angeles, and I had a mentor, an author mentor, that I was a member of his mastermind, a fellow named Dan Kennedy, and I learned this from him. He said, "You can write a chapter in my book. You can one section. It was 2 pages. It was just be a
Hmm.
contributor in my book, and you can buy 200 copies of it. You have the privilege to buy 200 copies right from the publisher, who was, I think it was Penguin back then, or it
Hmm.
was Entrepreneur Books. I don't remember. It was part of his No BS series, and for to contribute, the investment is 10,000 USD, and I
Hmm.
did it because I got to piggyback my authority on Dan Kennedy's, who was a very well-known marketing and
Hmm.
speaker. And it was almost emotional. This is before I wrote my books myself. It was the stepping stone of, I like this. I could brag
Yeah.
to friends. I'm in Dan Kennedy's book. And yeah, I invested $10,000. But what it did for me is I was able to earmark it, and I put a sticky note and mailed it out to my top clients. So what did it do for me and what did
Wow.
it do for him? And it raised my credibility because of association, the power of association to a
Hmm.
well-known, he's written 40 plus books and he was very well known. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he was from my generation, big marketer,
Hmm.
Dan Kennedy. And he got into my clients.
Mm.
And it was a
Wow.
strategy. I paid him for me to market him to my clients.
Yeah.
Isn't
Smart
that
man. Smart
oh
man.
my gosh. I learned. So if the power of if you acknowledge somebody, I think Napoleon stated this, men will
Mm,
die for
mm.
badges and ribbons.
Yeah.
They'll go
Yeah.
to war for it, for recognition. They'll die for
Absolutely.
it. I mean, they'll go
Wow.
back to
That's true.
Napoleon's time. So it's true. So this strategy with your kids, like, oh my gosh, you pull that string, there are all sorts of opportunities. That
Yeah.
I had not heard until today. So two high
Yeah.
schools, two competitions, and then you have an award ceremony
Yeah. At
and
an
you
award
give more
ceremony.
than one award, or
I
was it
did.
a
I just chose
monetary
just
award or was it
no,
like
no.
a
The award
trophy?
ceremony was just I shouldn't say it like that. The award ceremony is the announcement of the winner. So I brought the five. There were top five finalists, and we brought them together to announce the winner.
And how many people were in attendance in total?
Probably close to 100. So two school buses, about 50 people on each school bus. So probably close to 100.
So did you rent a hall
Yeah.
to do that? Okay, so it was marketing. This was your marketing
Oh,
investment,
this was marketing. This was
but you
marketing. Yeah,
but you
yeah,
had your books there available for sale.
yeah, yeah,
How
yeah.
many books
No,
did you
I
sell?
didn't even have my books available for sale. My books weren't even done yet.
Oh
This is like a
man.
year and a half out. This is just getting warmed up. This is me
Oh,
getting warmed up.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, excuse me. What was Kern? What followed up from that? Because that part is brilliant. I love it. I
The
love it.
follow-up from that was then I did part two. So that took care of high school kids, right? So now
Okay.
I have some readers that will follow
You
me
got
for
some
years.
traction there. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm like, well, the people who didn't technically win, they remember they created actual art pieces. A lot of them created physical art pieces. So I said, all right, I'm gonna take the 10 physical art pieces of the finalists and I'm gonna have an art show. I'm gonna invite people to this art show. I partnered with a wine company, so they gave me free bottles of wine. I charged people $40 for a ticket because it's all you can drink wine to make sure I covered my costs. And and I had my friends at this point, the book started getting a little bit more finished, closer to complete. I had one of my actor friends read passages from the book, but they performed it. They kind of performed passages from my book. Um, my goal with that was emails. I needed emails. So emails and contact information. So I had about 50 people show up to that, adult readers now, and I collected all their emails. And a lot of those people came to my book launch. And when I sold 100 books on my book launch, that was from like half of it were from the people who came to that wine event.
I love it. I love it. That's a unique angle. That's very clever. So people that,
Long-term planning, man.
bud,
You're a
bud,
marketing guy. You get
yeah.
it. You
Oh, I'm
get
a
it.
marketing guy, and that's why I said, okay, this is great. I mean, you have to pull. You got to put a lot of feathers in your
Yeah,
quill here.
yeah,
You need a lot of marketing. I had
yeah.
not heard of that one. I mean, there are all sorts of things. I mean, I could talk until the end of the day. I mean, I do what I do because I get fresh ideas. Brilliance comes out every day. This is great. I mean, there are many follow-ups to this. And if you
Yeah.
bring a friend, you get this. I mean, there can be some ethical bribes inserted to get more traction.
Mm,
But that was great, Kern. And you
yeah.
probably they're proud of that because they were part of this.
Absolutely. They loved it. They loved it. It was great. It was a great experience all around. We sold a couple art pieces in that show, so we gave the students some
Okay.
money because again, that wasn't what it was about. But yeah, no,
And
and
charities could be
listen,
involved in this.
Charity, I partnered with Charity. Yeah, you're definitely a marketer. You know what it is. You know, you know.
You got to
I
look at
partnered
all
with
angles, man.
I
Got to
partnered
feed
with
the baby. Got to feed
I
the baby.
partnered with Breast Cancer Canada because the name of my book is Beauty Scars, Breast Cancer, like a scar, beauty
Okay.
partnership. They love the book. Boom, boom, boom. So we did a billboard campaign with Breast Cancer Canada. It's listen. If you need, if you want to sell books, you need to know how. You have to learn how to market. Like that's especially independently. You
100%.
have to learn how to market. There's no. I know there are some things that you could skip, some things you can and can't do in this world and get away with it. Not marketing your book is not one of them. Like you could get lucky. There are always exceptions. You could get super lucky, yes. So I'm not, but we're not talking about exceptions. If you want to sell books, you have to learn to market.
Well,
There's no exception.
Yeah, Thomas Edison said it's 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration.
Yeah,
You gotta put in the elbow grease, man. It's that's just the truth, and that's nonfiction or fiction for
Oh,
both.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's for
it's
both. That's for both.
marketing can be a little bit different, but the work is the same. You got to
Yeah,
push that
agreed.
baby, you know,
Agreed. Yeah.
and because the publishers aren't doing that for you.
No, not well, ugh, it's
They
that's
offer distribution, but they don't do the marketing for you.
you know what's so interesting that I learned about publishing, and I studied the industry, but I never learned about this till I was really in it and experienced it. It was a hard truth to accept that publishers don't sell books. Like that is not their business. They third parties sell books.
Yeah,
Bookstores sell books. They will promote you to this other platform and they sell the books. You're not going to a publisher's website and buying a book. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
so they're not in the game of selling books. They're in the game of, like you said, distribution. They distribute books. That was really hard for me to understand. But once you understand that, you understand why they put marketing dollars behind certain books and not every book, because that is not their game. Their game is to distribute the book. You have to figure out how to sell your book.
Yeah,
That
they'll take
is,
you to the gym, but you got to do the reps, man. If you want big
there
biceps,
you
you
go.
got to do
There
the
you
reps.
go. There
And
you
that's it.
go.
They'll introduce you. And here you go. Go inside, put your
Yep.
shorts on, and start doing some squats. You know?
Yes. Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
That's a real analogy. Like that's what it is. They'll give you the platforms. So Penguin's a huge platform. Scholastic's a huge platform. So I've been able to sell books. Like I'm not going to like discredit the fact that the fact that I have major exposure
Mhm.
is not a part of me selling books. That would be ridiculous, right? Like I'm not going to say
It
that that's not
helps.
true. It helps. But if you're asking me if the only reason I sold books is because they put a bunch of marketing dollars behind it, that's just not the case. You know what I'm saying? It
No,
doesn't work
I
like
learned
that.
that from John Wiley and Sons. My first published book was with them,
Mm,
and they provided distribution. It was an emotional feeling to see my books on bookshelves,
hmm
and I also paid to have placement inside airports, Walden
mm,
Books inside U.S. airports, and that was where I sold most of my books, and it was where my market. It was business travelers, nonfiction back
mm.
then, and so you got to be where people want to buy books.
Ah,
I mean, if you can get
yeah,
into airports, man, that's golden. But that's a pay to play.
yeah. Okay, that I haven't cracked that one yet. I haven't
Oh
cracked that
well,
one
it's a
yet.
pay to play. But if you're with a real publisher, I mean, a major
Uh-huh.
recognized publisher, you can do it. It's just pay to play. It's
It's pay
part
to
of,
play.
yeah,
Okay,
it's pay to play, and it worked out really well for me. I'll say
got
that.
you.
And in the nonfiction genre, but I like to share ideas. Well, Kern, you've been a fantastic resource. I'm going to have you on again after your
Thank you, man.
nonfiction book comes out, so we can give it a little push. When's that going to be published?
That's February next year, February 27th.
All right. So we'll definitely invite you back, and maybe you'll have a green cap this time. You went red, so see if we can get the
I
color
got you. I'll
coordination.
switch it up. I'll switch it
Yeah.
up.
Switch it up. Kern, you've been great. KernCarter.com, and you've been a real pleasure. Thank you for your
Thank you.
gems. All right. Have a good one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Amazing Authorities Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more experts like you rise to the top. For behind-the-scenes access and free resources to boost your authority, head to MitchCarson.com. Until next time, stay amazing.